Part 1. When history is found again. Emotion is one of the most important chapters of human history has never been written down. Not because it's never happened, but because it's worth forgotten. Buried beneath layer of earth, hidden inside mountains, shelved within tombs, all lost beneath deserts and ocean for thousands of years. For much of human story, countless civilization, kingdom, and culture disappeared um, from memory. Their cities collapse, their monuments crumble, their language fade. Over time, the people who built them became little more than legends. Story passed from generation to generation. Sometimes even though story vanished through modern world, it can feel as though history is complete, and though the major events of the past had already been discovered, studied, and understood. But archaeology tells a very different story. In reality, much of human history remained hidden until surprisingly recently. Entire civilizations have been rediscovered. Within the last few centuries, ancient cities once believed to be myths have emerged from jungle and deserts. Long lost texts have revealed forgotten knowledge. Memories treasure have transformed our understanding of the past. What makes archaeology so fascinating is that a single discovery can change everything: one town, one artifact, one buried city. Sometimes that's it takes to rewrite history. A discovery can challenge assumptions that scholars held for generations. It can reveal that a civilization was more advanced than anyone realized. They can uncover connection between cultures separated by vast distance. And sometimes it can answer questions that have remained unsolved for centuries. History is often compared to a puzzle, but unlike an ordinary puzzle, many of the pieces are still missing. Archaeologists spend years searching for those missing pieces. They excavate ancient ruins, study forgotten inscriptions, analyze fragments of pottery, tools, and artwork. Each object helps tell part of a story, so no one knows exactly where the next breakthrough will come from. Some of the greatest discoveries in history have been completed by ancient. From digging well have uncovered ancient armies. Searching for lost animals have found bracelets, manuscripts. Exploring local legends have stumbled upon lost city hidden for centuries. Again and again, the past has revealed itself in unexpected way. And every time it does, our understanding of history grows. The discovery we are about to explore are more than remarkable archaeology finds. They are monuments that transform how humanity sees itself, reveal forgotten words, recovers lost knowledge, and connect us with people who lived thousands of years ago. Some uncover magnificent treasure as unlock ancient language. Some reveal entire civilization that had nearly vanished from memory. Together, they have us that history is never truly finished. There are still mysteries waiting beneath the ground, still cities hidden beneath forests, still tombs that have never been opened, still artifacts resting beneath the sea. The past is not a closed book. It's a story that continues to grow with every discovery. In the journey, we will descend into a tomb of a young Egyptian king whose racial chapel remained untouched for more than 3,000 years. We will stand among thousands of lifestyle warriors created through wealth and imperial in the afterlife. We will examine the stone that unlocked one of the world's most famous lost language. We will travel to a forgotten city behind the Andes, and we will uncover ancient manuscripts that survived nearly 2,000 years in the deserts. Each discovery changes history in its own ways. Each reveals something extraordinary about the people who came before us, and it should serve as a reminder that some of the greatest chapters of human history were never truly lost. They were simply waiting to be found. Part 2. Tutankhamun Tomb, the pharaoh who returned from the dead. From 4,000 years, the site of Egypt considered one of the great archaeological treasures ever discovered. Research writers on the valley of the kings lay a royal tomb that had escaped the fate of almost every other burial chapel in ancient Egypt. While countless tombs have been lost by Greece stumbled over the century, this remained largely untouched. Its treasure waited in darkness. Its grace remained still, and the young king breathed inside were almost forgotten by history. His name was Tutankhamun. Today, he is the most famous pharaoh in the world. Yes, before the 20th century, few people had ever heard of him. Was not a great conqueror. He did not rule for decades. He did not build monuments on the scale of ceramics as a second art kung fu. In fact, his range has relatively short and unremarkable compared to many other Egyptian rulers, but faced and has something extraordinary in store for him. In 1922, British archaeologist Rosetta Carter made a discovery that would change archaeology forever. For years, Carter has researched with the Valley of Kings, convinced that an undiscovered royal tomb still remains hidden beneath the desert's floor. Many experts believe the valley had already revealed all of his secrets, but Carter refused to give up. After years of excavation, his persistence was finally rewarded. Workers uncovered a stone staircase buried beneath the sand. The step led downwards toward and sealed doorway. On the doorway were ancient shells bearing the name of Tutankhamun. It was the moment Carter had been waiting for. As the entrance were carefully opened, the world had held its breath. Behind the doorway lay trampled untouched for more than 3,000 years. According to legend, when Carter was asked if he could see anything inside, he famously replied, "Yes, wonderful things." What he had discovered was unlike anything archaeologists had ever seen. The tomb contained an astonishing collection of treasure. Golden curiosities, jewelry, weapons, furniture, statues, ceremonial objects, and countless artifacts designed to accompany the young king into the afterlife. More than 5,000 objects were eventually catalogued. Many were preserved in extraordinary condition. The discovery provides an unprecedented glimpse into the wealth, craftsmanship, and religious belief of ancient Egypt. At the center of the tomb lay Tutankhamun's mummy. Surrounding it was multi-nested coffins. The intimate coffin was made of solid gold. Covering the king's face was a magnificent golden funerary march that would become one of their most recognizable symbols in his main history. The craftsmanship was breathtaking. Even today, it remains one of the greatest masterpieces ever carved from ancient world. But the significance of the discovery extended far beyond treasure. For the first archaeologists had access to a nearly intact royal grove from ancient Egypt. Most royal tombs had been lost long before modern excavation began. Venerable objects were stolen. Records were destroyed. Important evidence were lost forever. Tutankhamun's tomb was different. It offered a rare snapshot of pharaoh burial show exactly as it had been prepared thousands of years earlier. Every object provides valuable information. Researchers learn about Egyptian religion, royal ceremonies, funerary traditions, artistic techniques, and daily life within the royal court. The discovery transformed Egypt's theology. Entire generation of scholars who spent decades studying the artifacts recovered from their time. This tomb also gave rise to one of the most famous legends in archaeology history, the Curse of the Pharaoh. Shortly after the discovery, several individuals connected to the excavation died under various circumstances. Newspapers quickly turned these events into sensational story. They claim an ancient coast protected the town from intruders. According to popular culture, everyone who disturbed the resting place of the king would suffer terrible consequences. The story captures the popular imaginations. Books were written, films were produced, the legend spread across the world. Israelite historians and scientists have found no evidence that a supernatural cause exists, but that can be explained by natural cause and coincidence. Nevertheless, the legend became part of the town's enduring appeal. It moved from Tutankhamun from an archaeologist ancient ruler into a global icon. Ironically, the young king became more famous in death than had ever been in life. More than a century after a discovery, Tutankhamun Tomb continued to fascinate people around the world. The treasure remains among the most important archaeological finds ever uncovered. Visits museums to see the artifacts. Researchers continue to study the brochure using modern scientific techniques. New discoveries are still being made about the king's life, health, family, and rich. What makes the discovery so remarkable is not simple the goal or the treasure. It's a window is opened into the lost world, a world of pharaoh, priests, craftsmen, and belief that served upon historic created civilization. For more than 3,000 years, the tomb remained hidden beneath the deserts. Then, in a single moment, it emerged from the darkness and transformed our understanding of ancient Egypt. It's been one of the greatest archaeological discoveries ever made, a reminder that sometimes the most important chapters of history are not lost forever. They are simply waiting beneath the sand for someone to uncover them. Part 3. The Terracotta Army, the Imperial Army. In 1974, a group of farmers in northern China set out to dig a well. It seemed like an ordinary day, a routine task in a rural village near the city of Sion. But as we dug deeper into the earth, they uncovered the drag of something unusual: pieces of clay, broken pottery, trees step emerging from the soil. At first, no one realized the significance of what had been found. That minute, their feast like one of the greatest archaeological discovery of the 20th century. An underground army that had remained hidden for more than 2,000 years. An army created for an emperor who believed his power should continue even after death. That is known as the Terracotta Army, and its discovery transformed our understanding of ancient China. The story began with Qin Shi Huang, born in 259 BCE. He would become one of the most important figures in Chinese history. Before his reign, China was divided among competing kingdoms that constantly fought for power. Consideration welfare dominated the landscape, but Qin Shi Huang changed everything. Through military conquest and political strategy, they identified the warring state and established the first centralized Chinese empire. In 2221 BCE, it became the system of measurement, created as administrative reform, and began projects that would influence China for centuries. That's equal also office with amateurity. Like many rulers throughout history, Qin Shi Huang feared death. He searched for ways to extend his life. Sent expeditions in search of mystical eclipses and devoted enormous resources to preparing for the afterlife. His creative projects were his tomb. Construction reportedly began he was still a teenager and continued for decades. According to ancient records, hundreds of thousands of workers participate in its creation. The scale was unlike anything China had ever seen. The scale was but for more than 2,000 years, part of the complex remained hidden beneath the earth. When archaeologists began investigating the site after farmers uncovered something astonishing. Rows upon rows of the life-size clay soldiers, standing in military formation, prepared for battle, guarding their imperial in death. As excavation continued, the true scale of the discovery became clear. Thousands of warriors filled enormous underground chambers. Infantry, soldiers, archers, officers, generals, horsemen, even chariots. The army appeared ready to march at a moment's notice. Yes, perhaps the most remarkable detail was their individuality. Not two faces appear exactly the same. Each warrior possesses unique feature, different expression, different hairstyles, different ranks and uniform. The level of craftsmanship was extraordinary. It was as though an entire army had been frozen in time. Archaeologists estimate that the site contained more than 8,000 soldiers, along with hundreds of horse and chariots, and the excavation is still not fully complete. The discovery challenged previous assumptions about the capability of ancient Chinese craftsmen and engineers. Creating such a massive army required incredible organization. Workers had to produce thousands of figures while maintaining remarkable levels of detail. Materials had to be transported. Kings had to operate on an enormous scale. Artists and craftsmen had to coordinate their efforts over many years. Their project demonstrates a level of state how rarely seen in the ancient world. Yes, the Terracotta Army was only part of much larger complex. Ancient tech describes the Emperor's tomb as a miniature representation of his empire. River and sea was supposedly regulated using liquid mercury. Police and city was constructed underground. Treasure was placed throughout the burial complex. Although many parts of this account remain unverified, a scientific study have detected unusually high concentration of mercury in the area surrounding Tomb Mount. This has led some researchers to believe that portion of the ancient inscription may contain elements of truth. Perhaps the greatest mystery is that the central tomb itself remains unopened. Modern archaeologists have chosen not to investigate the emperor's brutal chamber. There are several reasons. Current technology may not be sufficient to preserve the delicate artifacts once exposed to air. Research also hope future generations will pose better methods for investigation and conservation. As a result, the most important part of the complex remains sealed, waiting much as has more than 2 million to know. The Terracotta Army also reveals something important about Qin Shi Huang himself. It demonstrates the immense resource he could command, the scale of his ambition, and his determination to extend imperial authority beyond death itself. This was not merely a tomb, it was a statement of power. It's the declaration that the first imperial intends to rule forever. 3 million of visitors traveled to see and to see Terracotta Army standing before the electro of silent warriors is an unforgettable experience. Each figure represents a fragment of a larger story, a story of empire, ambition, mortality, and one ruthless attempt to conquer time itself. More than 2,000 years after Qin Shi Huang's death, his army still stands proud, not over an empire, but over one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in history, a discovery that revealed the extraordinary capabilities of ancient China and forever changed our understanding of his past. Part 4. The Rosetta Stone, the key to a lost language. Not all archaeological discoveries and myths of gold, not all are hidden inside magnificent time, and not all immediately capture the world's imagination. Sometimes the most important discovery appears surprisingly ordinary, a broken stone covered in writing, lying unnoticed for centuries. Yes, one such stone wall would accomplish something no treasure ever could. It could unclog entire civilization and allow humanity to hear voices that had been silent for nearly 2,000 years. This was the Rosetta Stone, one of the most important archaeological discoveries in history. Its story began in 1799 during Napoleon Bonaparte's campaign in Greece. French soldiery was strengthening a fort near a town of Rosetta, known today as reshaped. While working on the structure, we discovered a large glass stone covered with ancient inscriptions. At first glance, it appeared to be just another artifact from a distant past, but scholars quickly realized it wasn't extraordinary. The stone contained the same thick writing written in three different scripts. At the top were Egyptian hieroglyphs. Below the was Demotic, a script commonly used in ancient Egypt, and at the bottom was ancient Greek. Its combination was strange history. For centuries, Egyptian hieroglyphs has remained one of the world's greatest history. The symbol covers temple walls, monument tombs, and spaces throughout Egypt. Travel has tied them for generations. Scholars have studied them extensively, but no one could read them. The knowledge required to understand hieroglyphs had disappeared long ago. After the decline of ancient Egyptian civilizations, the language gradually faded from use. By the end of the 4th century CE, the ability to read hieroglyphs had effectively vanished. For nearly 1400 years, the inscriptions remained silent. People could see the symbol, but could not understand their meaning. Many believed hieroglyphs were purely symbolic or mystical. Some scholars thought each imaging represents complex philosophical ideas rather than actual language. Without a key to decipher them, no one knew for certain the Rosetta Stone changed everything. Because scholars could already read ancient Greek, they knew the three inscriptions contained the same message. If they could compare the text, they might finally unlock the meaning of the hieroglyph. The challenge was enormous, yet turned into decades as researchers across Europe attempted to solve the puzzle. Many brilliant minds contributed a piece of the solution. But the breakthrough came from a French scholar named Jean-Francois Champollion. From an early age, Champollion had been fascinated by ancient language. He devoted years of his life to studying Egyptian inscription. Unlike many scholars before him, he suspected that hieroglyphs presented sound as well as symbol. This idea proved crucial. By comparing names written in Greek though appearing in hieroglyphic characters, the gradually identify a phonetic pattern within the writing system. In 1822, Champollion announced his breakthrough. After a century of silence, hieroglyphs could finally be read again. The achievement transformed the study of ancient gifts. Soon the time of wars became historical documents. Time became achieved. Monuments became record of real people, events, and beliefs. An entire civilization found its voice once more. The impact was impossible to overtake. Before the Rosetta Stone, much of what people knew about ancient Egypt came from Greeks and Roman writers. Now scholars could read Egyptian sources directly. They could study royal decree, religious texts, historical records, personal inscription. So civilizations that had built the pyramids were no longer speaking through outsides. Its words speak for itself. New discoveries followed rapidly. Archaeologists began translating inscriptions across Egypt. The name of forgotten pharaoh emerged from the stone. Chronology became cleaner. Religious practice became better understood. Entire chapters of history that had been inaccessible for centuries suddenly became available. Those Rosetta Stone did not simply reveal information; it opened the door to an entirely new understanding of the ancient world. What makes the discovery especially remarkable is that the text itself was not particularly dramatic. It was a degree ensued in 196 BC during the reign of King Ptolemy V. The content was important historically, but it was not the main that changed the world. It was the fact that the same message appeared in three scripts. The stone became a bridge between language, capable of unclogging a lost system of writing. The Rosetta Stone remains one of the most famous artifacts on Earth. Millions of people have viewed it. Countless books have been written about it. Its name has become synonymous with decoding mysteries and uncovering hidden knowledge. Yes, its true importance lies in something deeper. It reminds us that history is not only preserved through monuments and treasure. It's preserved through language, through words, through the ability of one generation to communicate with another across vast stretches of time. For nearly 14th century, ancient Greece was silent. Its time was stood, its monuments fine, its heritage remained visible, but their meaning was lost. Then a single stone changed everything, and through it, one of history's greatest civilizations found its voice again. Had five. Machu Picchu's the lost city of the Incas. High in the Andes mountain of Peru, surrounded by steppe peaks and steep clouds, like one of the most extraordinary archaeological sites on Earth. A city of the stone, perched nearly 2,500 meters above sea level, hidden among rugged mountains that seem to touch the sky. Today, millions of people recognize its image instantly, but for centuries the outside world did not know its existence. The Pachu often called the lost city in the Incas, and its discovery transformed our understanding of one of the greatest civilizations in the Americas. The Inca Empire was the largest empire ever established in pre-colonial America. At its height during the 15th century, it stretched across vast regions of western South America. Its territory includes part of modern-day Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, and Colombia. The Incas built an extensive network of roads connecting distant city and mountain settlements. They developed sophisticated agricultural system, constructed remarkable stone structure, and government people across some of the most challenging terrain on Earth. Yes, when Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century, the empire quickly collapsed. Easy warfare and political instability disaster in Cape. Many cities were abandoned, other wars destroyed. Over time, much of the empire faded from view. For centuries, Machu Picchu remained hidden among the mountains. Local communities knew of its existence, but it was likely unknown the outside world. Dense vegetation covers many of its structural remote locations, protected it from widespread attention. Another major Inca site escapes the destruction that accompanied the Spanish conquest. As a result, it remained remarkably well preserved. Then, in 1911, an American explorer named Hiram Bingham arrived in the region. Killed by local residents, he climbed into the mountain and encountered the route. What they found encouraged him to raise cave into step slopes, stone buildings standing among the clouds, temples, places, stairways, and homes constructed with extraordinary precision. The site appeared almost untouched by time. Bingham believed he had discovered a lost city of immense historical importance. New as a fine spread quickly around the world, Machu Picchu captured public imagination. setting makes it appear almost mythological, a forgotten world hidden above the clouds. As archaeologists began studying the site, realized it offered a unique glimpse into Incan civilization. The engineering alone was remarkable. The Incas built without iron stones, without well spots transport, and without large draft animals capable of moving massive stone. His drivers with such precision that gaps between them are often barely visited. Meteors have survived a quake that destroyed more buildings. The city also demonstrates sophisticated knowledge of geography and environmental management. Tourists established the mountain sites and supported agriculture. Drainage system control rainwater. Buildings were positions to take advantage of the landscape while managing risk from erosion and landslides. Every aspect of the site reflects careful planning that despite more than a century of research, Machu Picchu still holds important mysteries. Why was it built? Why purpose does it serve? There is no definitive answer. Some scholars believe it was a royal estate constructed for the Inca ruler Terracotta. Others guess it functioned as a ceremonial center, a religious sanctuary, or a combination of multiple roles. The absence of writing records make these questions difficult to answer with certainty. Another mystery involved is abandoned. The city appeared to have been occupied for only a relatively short period. Sometime during the 16th century it was deserted. Why this happened remains unclear. The collapse of the Inca Empire likely played a major role. Political upheaval and treason circumstances may have made a settlement unsustainable. Yet no single implementation fully solves the question. What makes Machu Picchu such an important archaeological discovery is not simple expected. It's fundamentally changed underestimates the sophistication of the Incas. Machu Picchu revealed a society capable of engineering, planting, and architectural achievement. Others pointed that the mountain of the South America once supported complex and highly organized communities. The site became a symbol of a civilization whose accomplishments were often been overlooked. Today, Machu Picchu stands among the most famous archaeological sites in the world. Visitors travel from every corner of the globe to walk its ancient pathway, to understand its stonework, and to look across the mountain that protected it for centuries. Yet beyond the stunning century lies a deeper story. The story of a city that has rediscovered an empire. A discovery that revealed a brilliance of the Inca world, and a reminder that some of history's greatest treasures are not hidden in tombs or buried beneath deserts. Sometimes they wait quietly among the clouds, hidden in plain sight, until the world is finally ready to find their passage. The Dead Sea Scrolls voice from 2,000 years ago. In the barren deserts near the source of the Dead Sea, one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the 20th century was hidden inside the Syrian remote cave. For nearly 2,000 years, ancient manuscripts rested in darkness, protected by the dry climate, sideways from the passage of time, waiting silently for someone to find them. When they were finally rediscovered, they transformed the study of ancient history, religion, and the origin of some of the world's most influential texts. The manuscripts became known as the Dead Sea Scrolls, and their discovery revealed voids that had been silent for nearly 20th century. The story began in 1947. Across the most widely accepted accounts of young without sapphires were searching for a lost ghost in the rush hills near the Dead Sea. While exploring Ariel threw a stone into a cave. Instead of hearing the sound of the rock hitting the ground, he heard something unexpected, the sound of breaking pottery. Curious, he entered the cave and found several large clay jars. Inside some jars were ancient scrolls wrapped in linen. At the time, no one realized how important the discovery would become. What seemed like a piece of pottery would soon attract the attention of scholars around the world. As through spirits, archaeologists began investigating the region. Their work led to an extraordinary a series of discoveries. Over the following years, researchers found additional caves containing thousands of manuscript fragments. In total, more than 900 spirits texts were eventually identified, some were nearly complete. Others found only as tiny fragments. Together, they represented one of the most significant collections of ancient writing ever discovered. The scroll dated from approximately the 3rd century BCE, the 1st century CE. This period was one of profound changes in ancient Near East. Empire rose and fell, religious tradition evolved, political tension shaped everyday life. The Dead Sea Scrolls provide a direct window into the world. Many of the manuscripts contain copies of texts that later became part of the Hebrew Bible. What makes these discoveries so remarkable was their age. Before the Dead Sea Scrolls, the oldest surviving biblical manuscripts available to scholars were discovered many centuries later. Suddenly, researchers had across to copies that were over 1,000 years older than many previously known versions. They allowed scholars to compare texts across vast stretches of time. As a result, were extraordinary. Many biblical passages have been preserved with remarkable accuracy. At the same time, discovery between manuscripts reveal how science text evolved through history. The scroll also contained writings that were not included in the biblical canon. These documents describe religious belief, community rules, interpretation of scripture, and expectation about the future. They offer invaluable insight into the diversity of religious thought during this period. For historians, the discovery opened an entire new chapter in understanding ancient Judaism and the cultural environment in which early Christianity emerged. Yet the Dead Sea Scrolls raised as many questions as they answered. Who wrote them? Who were they hidden? And who lived in nearly settlement of Cretan? Many scholars believe scroll was connected to Jewish religious communities that live in the area. Others argue that the connection may have come from multiple sources. The debate continues today. Despite decades of research, not every question has been resolved. The preservation of the scroll was itself remarkable. Normally, ancient manuscripts bequeathed repeatedly major insights and changing literature destroyed the fact by materials of the time. But the extreme dryness of the Dead Sea region created ideal conditions for preservation. As a result, documents that should have eventually long ago survived for nearly 2,000 years. Modern technology has continued to reveal new information from the world. Advanced imaging techniques have allowed researchers to raise free individuals to next age. Revisit reconstruction has helped scholars piece together fragments that were once impossible to interpret. The impact of the Dead Sea Scrolls extends far beyond archaeology. They influence the study of religion, ancient language, history, and textual scholarship. They provide evidence that transform academic understanding of one of the most important periods in human story. Most importantly, they connect the modern world directly with people who lived more than 2 millennia ago. Through these writings, we can claim their hopes, their fear, their beliefs, their attempt to understand the world rather. Today, the Dead Sea Scrolls are regarded as one of the greatest archaeological discoveries ever made. Not because they contain gold or treasure, but because they preserve knowledge. They carry forward across 2,000 years of history, and they remind us that some of the most valuable discoveries are not monuments or artifacts. They are words that survive long after civilizations have vanished. Words that continue to speak to us from the distant past. Past 7. They will still have been found. As remarkable as these discoveries are, they reveal something even more extraordinary. They remind us how little we actually know about the human past. It is easy to imagine history as a complete story, a vast timeline stretching from ancient civilizations to the modern world. A story already written but fully understood. But archaeology tells a different story. A story filled with missing chapters, a lost city, forgotten city, and countless um, my mystery that remain beneath the earth. The discovery of Tutankhamun Tomb transformed our understanding of ancient Egypt. The Terracotta Army revealed the incredible ambition of China's first imperial. The Rosetta Stone uncloaked a language that had been silent for centuries. Machu Picchu brought a lost chapter of the Inca world back into the light, and the Dead Sea Scrolls preserved voice from nearly 2,000 years ago. Its discoveries changed history. Its first scholars to consider that what they thought they knew, and it began with something hidden, something overlooked, something waiting before found. Thus, patent has repeated throughout the history of archaeology again and again. And those great breakthroughs have emerged from places no one expected. A great town, a forgotten cave, a remote mountain, a field where farmers happen to be digging. The legend is both simple and profound. The past is still out there, waiting, even today. Archaeologists continue to make discoveries that would have seemed impossible only a few decades ago. Advanced technology are transforming the search for lost history. A satellite emotionally can reveal ancient city hidden beneath forests. Go penetrating radar can detect structure buried underground. Little scanning can penetrate dense vegetation and uncover landscapes that have remained invisible for centuries. Entire settlements are being discovered without turning a single shovel of soil. The growth is revealing secrets that were once beyond our reach. Yet every answer seems to create new questions. For every city that is found, others remain missing. For every inscription that is translated, the language that still cannot be read. For every stone that is opened, countless others remain sealed. History continues to challenge us, and perhaps that is what makes archaeology so fascinating. Unlike many sciences, it's not only about discovering new information, it's about recovering human story. The story of people who live, work, dream, and build long before our time. People who live would have been forgotten had their trace not found. Every artifact is a connection across centuries, and discovery is a conversation with past, and there may still be extraordinary discovery waiting for future generations. Some researchers believe undiscovered cities remain hidden beneath the amazing rainforest. Others search for royal tombs that have never been found. Across deserts, mountains, and ocean, archaeologists continue looking for clues that may reshape our understanding of history once again. Some of the greatest discoveries in human history may not have happened yet. They may still lie beneath our feet, buried beneath layers of earth, hidden beneath the sea, or concealed within landscape few people have explored. That possibility is both exciting and humbling. because it reminds us that our understanding of the past is never complete. History is not a finished book. It's an ongoing investigation, a puzzle with countless missing pieces, and every generation has the opportunity to uncover another part of the story. The discoveries we explore in this journey change history because they reveal words that had nearly been forgotten. They brought lost civilizations back into the light. They recovered college once believed lost forever. And they prove that the past is far more complex, surprising, and mysterious than we often imagine. But perhaps the most important lesson is this. The greatest archaeological discovery of the own time may not be behind us. It may be still be within somewhere beneath the ground, somewhere beyond the horizon, waiting for the moment when history is found once again.